Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back. We are going to get straight into this. Real Madrid are going to be the club to ignite this transfer market. They are going to be an absolute domino effect across Europe. In the Premier League, it'll affect Manchester United, it'll affect Chelsea, it'll affect Arsenal, Liverpool, all the big clubs. It'll affect PSG, it'll affect absolutely everybody. So with the signing of Yan Diomande looking very likely for Real Madrid at this moment in time, reports coming out of Spain is they're going to sign him for 100 to 120 million. Look, I am old school. If you're paying that much for a player, you should be getting like a Messi, Neymar, Ronaldo level of player. But in this market and in this inflated market, you've seen Anthony Gordon going to Barcelona for 80-90 million, which is ridiculous, but it's the price you have to pay. Now, don't get me wrong, Yan Diomande had a good World Cup. He's an absolute stud, and he can play off the left and he can play off the right. I think the Yan Diomande deal could be a potential threat now to Vinicius Jr. Vinicius Jr, who has been renegotiating with Real Madrid. Apparently he's wanting a lot of money, apparently he's wanting a lot, and Perez isn't willing to give him it. And we've seen it in the past that Perez has just been stubborn. Look at Cristiano Ronaldo. Ronaldo was forced out of Real Madrid just purely because of negotiations with Perez. Do you not think he's going to do that with Ronaldo? He's going to do that with Vinny. Now, if Vinny was to leave, and so if Yan Diomande comes in, Vinny leaves, then you have Vinny looking, and Arsenal are potential suitors. Could you have like Arsenal going for him? Could you have Liverpool going for him? Because they're both in the market for a winger. PSG are looking to get rid of Barcola. Could PSG make a big massive summer deal? Could he potentially even go to Bayern Munich? Because there's only a handful of clubs in the world that potentially would take on Vinicius Jr. and who could actually afford him. When it comes to Yan Diomande, but because he can play off the left and off the right, you are trying, that is purely to get the best out of Kylian Mbappe. We've seen in this World Cup how good that France front four looked, and I think if you can just mirror that front four, people who can play in multiple positions on multiple fluids, like a multiple of a fluid system. So we seen last season that Mbappe and Vinny both want to play off that left hand side and aren't really willing to intertwine with each other. But if you can get that front four system like France have, you will get the best out of Kylian Mbappe, and if you get the best out of Kylian Mbappe, you have an amazing chance to win La Liga, win the Champions League, win just whatever you need to win, because that man would win the Ballon d'Or if he plays like you can get the World Cup Mbappe, he will win the Ballon d'Or without a doubt. He is the best footballer on the world if you can get that level of consistency. He had a good season last season, however, Real Madrid just didn't live up to the hype. Bring it back to the whole Vinicius Jr. So if Vinny was to leave Real Madrid, you could potentially, PSG could go in for him, Barcola could go, Arsenal, Liverpool are both in the market for a left winger. Arsenal are being heavily linked to Vinny. I personally do believe Vinny would struggle in the Premier League. That's a hot take I have, but I just think with the way the Premier League is set up and how physical the game is, I hate the whole, I hate everything that it's so systematic and everything is so rigid, and how you need to buy certain players that have certain attributes for certain systems. If you look at that PSG team, you buy the best players, you put them in the right positions, they play. That is football 101. That is genuinely bread and butter. Sometimes it is just that simple, and we tend to overcomplicate things as the game goes on. Look at the World Cup. It was just a matter of putting the right players in the right positions and you will succeed. Look at Spain. Spain have an amazing midfield. Right off this transfer window that Real Madrid are igniting is Rodri. Rodri leaving Man City. Now, that is a massive blow to the Premier League. It's a massive blow to Man City, but it's an amazing signing to Real Madrid, and if it gets done, it could be about maybe 40 to 60 million, which in this market is a steal. But that then frees up cash to Man City, who have already spent money for Elliot Anderson. They could potentially be in the market for a Boadi. They could maybe go and steal a Bruno G from Arsenal, who are heavily linked to Newcastle, to get that deal done. The whole transfer window is just waiting on this Real Madrid, not saga, but blueprint, just to see what happens. As for potential outgoings for Real Madrid, this opens up the likes of a Tchouaméni or a Camavinga to leave. There's been Premier League clubs interested in Camavinga. There's been links with maybe Man United. Man United are also heavily interested in Tchouaméni. We've seen that there from Fabrizio. He put out maybe a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago that Tchouaméni is the absolute dream target for Manchester United. And don't get me wrong, Manchester United are having a tragic transfer window. Yes, it's being marketed as this amazing thing. They've missed out on their top targets to a rival. They wanted Elliot Anderson, they didn't get him. So for Manchester United to rescue their transfer window, it would make sense for them to go in for a marquee signing like a Tchouaméni, and they haven't really replaced that Casemiro. And if Real Madrid were ever going to sell like a Tchouaméni or a Camavinga, it's in this market. You're going to get the most value for them because Camavinga and Tchouaméni haven't both kicked on as much as Real Madrid fans and Real Madrid would have liked them to. Another area of this transfer window that this whole domino effect causes is Manu Kone leaving Roma. Now, could you also see Tchouaméni go to like the likes of a Chelsea? Yes, they don't have Champions League football. However, you have the X factor in Xabi Alonso. We have seen that with Morgan Rogers. Morgan Rogers chose Chelsea over Arsenal because of the Xabi Alonso project that they are selling. Xabi Alonso has worked with Tchouaméni before, so could that be a deal that is potentially waiting to happen? And you have Manu Kone, Alex Scott, players like this who are waiting to leave their clubs. Alex Scott hasn't signed a contract with Bournemouth. Manu Kone is waiting to hear back from Manchester United to see what they're going to do. And if Manchester United are waiting on this Real Madrid situation, it flows back into Real Madrid. What are they going to do? There really isn't that much time left in the transfer window for this whole saga to finish up. There's only a couple of weeks before the season, so I do think this week or maybe potentially next week could be massive in this transfer window just to see how everything unfolds, because clubs are going to want their players back in. You have a lot of the high level teams, players away from taking their holidays after the World Cup. They will be back into pre-season within 2 or 3 weeks. You need them to be firing, you need to have everybody there. So this transfer window is going to heat up, and I am very, very excited to see what happens, and we will be reacting to all the news on here. But for the final point I want to make, Real Madrid's board. Now, they are showing serious ambition in order to get back to catching Barcelona after the 2 poor seasons they have had. They are making experienced, serious signs, backing Jose Mourinho, being ambitious, being the club that we know Real Madrid are, and building an absolute monstrous squad. Now, if you look at the likes of Manchester United, who are, in my opinion, leaving Michael Carrick out to dry. It just reminds me of the Jose Mourinho season. Jose Mourinho finished, was it 2nd or 3rd, and the board didn't back him, and he was gone by Christmas. That is just the whole story of Manchester United. I don't think they aren't delivering on their targets that they need to, and ultimately it will leave Michael Carrick to be out the gap. But that's a topic for another video. Stay safe, stay happy and healthy. Have a good day.